to another edition of Innovation Conversations. My name is Persephanie Quimby. I'm the Director of Business Development here at Architecting Innovation, and I'm here today with one of our senior developers, Mr. Casey Boyle.
Hey there, how you doing?
How are you doing today?
I'm great, how are you?
Good.
Good.
So you wrote a blog for us, and this long title, I always have to read it off the paper. Cross-platform mobile application development using Xamarin in a nutshell. Lots packed in there. Unpack it for me.
Yeah, I tried my best to condense that title down as much as possible, but I couldn't, unfortunately, as you can tell. But yeah, Xamarin cross-platform application development is basically what that means is Xamarin is a product produced by Microsoft that allows developers to create cross-platform applications, meaning for iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and probably more in the future, but those are the big three. So yeah, that's kind of what that title means.
So Xamarin created in 2011, so not that long ago, not too many years ago.
Pretty new.
And then was acquired by Microsoft in 2016.
Correct. Actually, initially it was Oracle was really interested in Xamarin, and Microsoft swooped in on it right before, I guess, that materialized. So there was a big, especially right around that time, there was just a really big push for mobile development, as one might imagine. So yeah, that's when everything started coalescing as far as Xamarin coming around.
So how's it accessible today?
Okay, today, basically, as far as like for developers, it's free when you get Visual Studio Community Edition. And that was kind of a recent development as well. It used to cost a lot of money to get a business development license, but Microsoft made it free for Visual Studio, and I think there's a number of other IDEs, and I'm not sure about the details on those for other operating systems like Linux, a few others. But yeah, it's the main idea is for Visual Studio, it's going to be free nowadays. So that's a major attraction for developers.
So tell me about Xamarin's selling points.
Okay, well, let's see. The number one selling point is going to be savings for developers, or I'm sorry, savings as far as development time, because, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole cross-platform thing. Essentially, a developer can create a single monolithic solution for an application which can be built into 3 different end results, one for Android, one for iOS, one for Windows Phone. Whereas in the past, someone would have had to create 3 separate solutions each one from the ground up. Using Xamarin cross-platform development, like I said, you make one solution. What ends up happening is you have probably about half the code. That's a major assumption. Depends on your product, but half the code, meaning half the development time, and thus you get a big cost savings. The other benefit is you can use .NET, C#.NET more specifically, as opposed to Java and iOS. Because for Android applications, typically developers have to use Java, and for iOS applications, developers have to use Objective-C. Well, there's a big learning curve with going down those separate language paths. Like most of the time, one development shop isn't going to have each, experts in each programming language. So it helps that you can have only C#.NET and develop for all these different platforms without losing any functionality. It's almost too good to be true if you think about it, but it's not.
So this is the idea behind massive code reuse.
Yeah, exactly, because you have one language, and Xamarin's done a lot of magic under the hood where they connect the platform. Well, basically, that's the wrong word to use. The platform creates what's called bridges to these other libraries in the native programming languages, to where the programmer doesn't have to deal with that. They basically abstract away those details. So not to get too technical, but yeah, it just really has a huge benefit in the end.
So what are your preferred, what's your preferred architecture, and what does that initial setup and application flow look like?
My preferred architecture, well, before I say that, there's basically 2 main routes that you can go down. And this is getting a little technical, but basically it's, you can either use a shared asset setup, I guess I would say, or a PCL, which means portable class library setup. I prefer, well, before I go into that, the shared asset one, basically you use what's called compiler directives to kind of branch into different sections of code depending on the platform that code is meant for. And in my opinion, that gets a little confusing for other developers that come and try to figure out what you were doing, and a number of other reasons. But and the other way, portable class library is basically you share all the code that you want to share. You put it in this project. This is the portable class library project, and then each one of your target platforms has its own mini projects, and they all kind of access the main portable class library project. So I just got really confusing most likely, but if you read the blog, there's a couple diagrams that kind of show that. And yeah, so the portable class library kind of technique is my preferred choice because it's far more modular, and if you need to go back and make changes, it's a lot easier to, we call it refactor the code. A number of other reasons too, but yeah, that was really confusing. I apologize.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I can follow that logic. So just to close it out, is there anything that you didn't have in your blog that you think that people watching should know about Xamarin?
Surprise question. Let's see here. It is a good question. Things people should know. It's kind of hard. If you're a developer, you should know that the initial learning curve, it seems intimidating, and it's really because of fear of the unknown. Because most people haven't dealt with this sort of paradigm of programming before. But once you basically spend like 2 solid hours of research, learn the basics, like it becomes much less daunting. I guess that's something to know from a developer standpoint. But yeah, hopefully that was informative enough.
Well, I appreciate your time, appreciate your blog. As always, if you've got more questions, you can visit us at www.theaiteam.com. All of our blogs are posted there. All of our videos are posted there. Hope to see you back here again soon. Have a great day.